This video was brought to you by an essay that I submitted last week. The project was to anthropologically observe a group of people either in person or online, and I chose the Next Door Neighbors app. I noticed a lot of people asking for like different types of assistance with anything. Does someone have to have already obtained a certain caliber of wealth to be worthy of receiving assistance? You already have to have the phone or have a phone to have access to the app or have access to a phone, and phones are not cheap, or smartphones are not cheap, one. And two, people be kind of 50-50 to help other people on the app by like giving them advice or giving them stuff for free, offering like, I have this stuff for free. But you wouldn't pay any mind to somebody that's on the street physically, like a homeless person. When I was younger, I was with my friend and her mom, and she rolled the window down and gave this guy $20. And he was like, thank you, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as she drove away, she was like, oh my gosh, did I just give him crack money? And we were just like trying to console her, like, no, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if I was like that developed at the time, but I feel like I said something of what I would say now, which is like, you felt like you did the right thing by helping somebody out, giving them money, and it's not up to you what they do with the money. You did the good deed, or the deed that you felt was good, by helping him. And if he wants to do bad things with the money, you didn't do anything wrong. You did it in good faith, right? But I think we have the idea of like a lot of people on the streets just be doing drugs, and that's why they're at where they're at. And I think that's why a lot of people are hesitant to help them. I think a lot of people are hesitant to, I think I'm generalizing, nothing other than the research that I've already conducted is like actual research. A lot of what I'm about to talk about is observation. So I totally understand where you can kind of be a little bit skeptical of helping someone start from the ground up. It was during the Panorama Pepperoni, and I went to CVS with my cousin, and this lady was outside asking for donations to stop bullying in schools. Mind you, my school, the school that I would walk to if I was in school at the time, was right across the street. And it was the Pepperoni. So I hadn't been in school for months. I said, well, what bullying are you stopping in schools if nobody's in school? I go to that school right there. And just brings me back to like the skepticism of it. Yes, I think that might be a little bit different because it's less personable. In good faith, I did give her some money, and I just hoped that it was gonna go to stop bullying in schools. Did I really believe her? No. But at the end of the day, I know what I gave her the money for, and if she decided to do whatever else with it, that's between her and the Lord above. That don't got nothing to do with me. The people that were like skeptical about helping people openly on the app, if they weren't like absolutely dismissive, like, girl, you can Google, do some research. Like, let me just outline what people are talking about on there. So people will ask like, hey, I lost my job. Is anybody willing to hire me or know of any like positions open, blah, blah, blah. I need government assistance. Could someone help me like fill out this form? Am I able to get government assistance? Like, does anybody know, have a testimony, blah, blah, blah. I need childcare. I need food. I need money for gas. I need free stuff. I just had a baby. Does anybody have stuff for free? I have a dog. Does anybody have dog stuff for free? I just noticed this one lady asking for free stuff. I went on there like a couple weeks later. She was asking for more free stuff. I went on her profile. She was like selling dogs. I'm like, okay. A couple weeks later, oh, my son, I want to get him a nice birthday gift. Does anybody have a PS5 that I can buy? I go on her profile. She had made a post about needing a car. Does anybody have a car under $2,500 that I can buy? And one of the comments was like, girl, you should have some money from selling them dogs. And yes, that was funny. I understand why she needs a car and why she needs a PS5. I read The Psychology of Money earlier this year, and it was one of the most boring books I ever read. But it was literally about like the psychology of money. I was hoping, like, I'm not the most fiscally responsible. So I was hoping like, oh, tips and tricks. He said to invest. Everybody said to invest. One of the things he said was, well, why is it that poor people, I don't put it like that, stereotypically more likely to purchase lottery tickets than people who already have money, especially if you don't have a lot of money anyway. How is it that you're scratching to buy a lottery ticket and hoping that you will win a lump sum of money instead of waiting over time? And it is because that people of a lower income bracket do not have they can't really afford to wait to get money. A lot of things that they need it now. I needed this yesterday type stuff. Instead of someone who already has money is not really going to bat an eye at playing the lottery because they already have it. Or if they do, it's like a every now and again thing. It is a luxury to have time. It is a luxury to be able to critically think about your finances instead of being impulsive and quick fast. And so when the lady posted that she needed a PS5 and a couple days before she needed a car, I would equate the lottery ticket to a PS5 in a way. Maybe those are like very, very different because she did want the son to just be happy. But I would equate it in that people will still put in for the lottery while needing food. She said she was willing to buy a PS5 while needing a car. I don't know if those things like really make sense, but it makes sense in my head. As like I totally understand why those two things exist for her at the same time. I'm not saying it's right, but that's what I think. Some people were offering to help her, saying, oh, come pick this up, come get this for free. And other people were saying, you are always asking for help. Like, what's tea? We are so disillusioned with wealth. I think a part of it is how my friend's mom was like, oh my gosh, did I just give them drug money? The concept of like even $1 million. $1 million is a lot of money. Let's not get it twisted. $1 million today compared to like when I say we were children, I'm 23. So when we were growing up, and that's whether you're within like 5 to 10 years older or younger than me. $1 million was like, whoa, like eyes popping out of your head. Like you're learning to count to 1 million in school and you're like, that's a lot of zeros. Like a million million is such a big number. And I think putting that in context with money made it even more unattainable and like crazy. Like, remember those like play monies? I don't know why I just said that, but like the little fake pennies and quarters and dollar bills that we would play with in school. If you told a little kid to count that out, now most people don't have $1 million in cash, but I'm just trying to emphasize how much $1 million is, especially to us as children. And so we're seeing elaborate displays of money. So I'm not thinking that when I'm saying this right now, I'm not thinking that these people literally have $1 million in their bank account. I'm saying that their bank account and their assets, whether they're paid off or not, their clothing, their lifestyle amounts cumulatively, cumulative, altogether amounts to $1 million. But yes, there are people around here walking among us with $1 million in their pocket. Especially, I live in the DMV, so yes, it's a lot of money right here. Yes, $1 million is still a lot of money. It's not enough. It's, I mean, we can clearly see that it's not enough. Why isn't $60,000 enough? Why isn't $80,000 enough? Why isn't 100,000? Like, we think 60,000 is not a lot of money, and in the grand scheme of things, it's not, unfortunately. But if we take 60,000 apart from like a lump sum of $60,000 is very different than a $60,000 wage. But $60,000 alone, it's still a lot of money, but it's not enough, and it should be. My cousin brought this video to my attention that I didn't watch, but I'd seen something similar to it, where a landlord was recording her property that was all types of backward. And she's recording it and she's talking about like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like, I can't believe my tenants did this. I was finally able to evict them, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is going to cost so much money. But the comments are like, girl, you have money. Like, that should not be a problem for you. Like, at least you're a realtor. At least you have money to fix it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Almost belittling the experience of the realtor. And I just think that's so crazy. Like, why is it that because we assume at the end of the day, because what I mean by people can need help, like, just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you know how to control it, doesn't mean you know how to hold on to it, doesn't, I mean, people who make $16 an hour can live paycheck to paycheck the same way that someone who makes 600,000. That is crazy. And lifestyle creep, like, there are definitely things going on there that probably should not be going on. You could be susceptible to like medical debt. I mean, debt comes in all types of forms. I think we like to think that debt is only from like luxurious purchases and absolute irresponsibility, but that's not the case all the time. I'm not talking about otherwise. I think that if there's a lot of ways to help like lifestyle creep and just frivolous spending, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. But it is true. It is true that these people who do that stuff don't be as wealthy as we think they are. But to go back to the realtor, yeah, like people was being so nasty, like, oh, you got it, like it's fine. At least you have another property. I think that's really dismissive, that just because, again, we assume of this person, they at least have last month's rent to them, right? But even still, I don't know. If someone's willing to trash their apartment where they're paying rent, I don't know. But we think that she has a lot of money because she has a property and she's charging people to rent it out. And maybe she do. Why are we dismissing her hardship? Is she not allowed to feel like disappointed, upset, angry that she was essentially disrespected by people that she opened her home to. Sure, she's running a business. Sure, she's responsible. I think that that situation is clearly different than a flood occurring. Because should a flood cost the same amount as that damage, one is that much more personable, I would say, than like an accidental disaster or whatever. Considering what I have been witnessing on the app, is it that, well, she didn't have a lot of money, would people have helped her instead? Would, if she had a story behind it, like, this was my family home and I rented it out to make extra money, would people have then felt bad for her? We're definitely living in like trying times at this moment. If you saw somebody dressed up really nicely and they asked you for money, would you be suspicious? Would you not want to help them? Would you want to help them, and why? Like, I'm genuinely asking. People be like, oh, community is so dead, blah blah blah, but it seems like community is bound to like a particular type of person or particular people. If you are not part of a particular subculture, you know, it's not exclusive to only people. Like, this is definitely fostered by the government as well, where you have to fill out paperwork and align to particular standards to be an acceptable candidate for assistance, which does make sense, because if Bill Gates were to sign up for snaps, I also think a part of it is the access that we have to each other with these cameras and social media and things of that nature. You got to look helpless in order to get help, and even then, that's not enough either, because homeless people do not get the help that they need all the time. We said that there is a lot of resources, and I see a lot of people give to them. I also just don't. I see the same people outside every single day. I've seen the same people for years. We just want to send these people and keep them as like outcasts to society, but they truly just don't have anywhere to go. If the shelters are full, they don't have resources. I mean, what else is someone gonna do? Are you good enough to get help if you don't already have enough wealth, basically? Do you have to already have money, capital, assets in order to be worthy of assistance? I think the answer is absolutely yes. I think it's unfortunate. I think the world would do that many more jumping jacks if we were so like here, like just willing. With that being said, I'm gonna go to bed. I hope you had a great day, or you have a great rest of your day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever, what have you. If you like the video, like the video. If you like me, subscribe. If not, kick rocks. I'm done talking. You're done watching me talk, and you'll see me when you